Hello. Hello, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can see
Okay.
you and we can hear you.
Thank
And I
you.
love your hair.
That's my new look for a few weeks. For a few weeks. How is everybody doing?
Well, we
Carol,
are
you want to
doing
talk
all
to me?
right.
Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, so that's my hair for a few weeks. Hello, everybody. It's good to be back here today. September. So there's background noise. Let's just take it out. We're just waiting for others to join us as well. But it's good to have you here. Thank you so much for being a part of Let's Talk About It. We're still trying to find the perfect time for our Saturday program. But I know that God is going to help us, to figure it out so that people can benefit from it, from what we're doing, um, anytime that we're on. But thank you so much for taking time out even to join us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, on your statuses right now, your contact is just send it out and say, hey, let's talk about it is on. Please send it out, remind them, remind everybody. I can't do that right now because I have to concentrate and be here with, be ready. So please help me send it out. Remind them that, there's just 7 of us on the call right now. We need to be more. This is it's a program for talking and sharing. And so we need more people to join us. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. All right, crew. How many minutes are we giving? How many minutes more are we giving for people to join us? Just trying to
Soon
get our
we can
yeah.
start proper by say 3:15. Do 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Because of where you are calling from, you said 3:15.
Oh, sorry.
It's not
One
3:15 for us.
1:15. Oh, I'm looking at my time. I'm saying 15:05.
I think 1:15. I think that's too much. I think that's way too much. That's way too much time to keep people waiting because we have Pastor Buki is on the line. We have Momi Adebayo. We have, so we just want others to join us. But I think the most important thing is to just get the word out again. The change in time too, it affects people. And like I always say, Saturday in Nigeria, it's party time. People are at parties and all. So please let's just give a few minutes more. Sabuki is joining us all the way from Japan. So she's ahead of all of us right now. Hello, Sabuki, what time is it with you, ma? Hello,
Hello, ma. Yes, ma.
what time is it with you?
It's 9 p.m., just 5 past 9 now, p.m. Saturday.
It's in the
Good
future
afternoon.
already. It's 9 p.m. It's in the future already. So please
Yes.
just bear with us. You know
No,
how
it's
the
okay for me. I prefer this time because before it used to be my 3 a.m. That's why I couldn't join sometimes. But
I
this one
know
is better for me. It's okay.
we're praying that others can, because we're just waiting. Like I said,
Yes,
this
ma.
1 p.m. Is
Wow.
Nigerian party time. Nigerian party time. That's what people are doing. Okay, if you just give me
Wow.
a minute, let me send out one more message. Maybe if it comes from me, then you'll remember to. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mommy, for always being there. We really, really appreciate this message out one more time. One more time. So people can join us. And then those that are watching Facebook, is there anybody on Facebook now? Are we sure? What do we know? Is there anybody joining us anywhere else?
On YouTube, but not yet, ma.
Okay, all right. So at least we're noting the time issues. so that we'll know what time is going to work for us at the end of the day. But God is good. God is helping us with this. We'll be able to figure it out at the end of the day. But please let's just send reminders out one more time. I'm sending out on my status right now. The validation trap. The validation trap. And I actually try to reach out to some of our younger ones too, because I know this is a big thing with teenagers, young adults. It's a really, really big thing. So that's the YouTube link, and there's the Zoom link as well. I'm just trying to send out again and again and again. Thank you, Carol, for breaking it up for us too, so that we have the YouTube link. And then I can also send out the Zoom link. Okay, I think we're just going to get started, and it's part of our experimentation. Oh, I think I put my camera off. A mistake. Sorry about that. Okay, thank you so much for being here this afternoon in Nigeria. It's about 1:10 p.m. in Nigeria, and it's good to have the opportunity to be with you again today. This is Let's Talk About It. It's a contemporary Christian talk program where we get to talk about all kinds of issues. Let's talk about it with Flaky. I'm Flaky. That's my name. My full name is Mabel Fuluke Irukera. And I'm thinking I have an amazing crew that works with me. And they do so much behind the scenes, getting it together, even trying to figure out this time. It's part of the work that they're doing. God will help us out because we know that we have a message. We know we have a message that God has given to us to take to the rest of the world. And, whatever the hindrances are, we'll overcome them. Thank you so much for being here. Let's talk about it is set on the premise and on the vision of sharing experiences, learning from other people, on learning things that are not necessary in our lives. Because as children of God, many times we're so focused, on the things that we consider spiritual. Things that we consider to me, well, everything, the summary of our lives is everything. Our Christianity, our lives is not just limited to, those things. It's everything that will help us make it to finish line. And so that's what Let's Talk About. It's about gray areas in our relationships. And, this year, God has put something in our hearts, a better way. So a better way of being a better person, a better way of doing anything, a better way of just a better version of you in every way. A better you in relationship, a better you in your relationship with God, a better you in your relationship with others, a better you in your career, in your business, in your goals, in your desires, in your character, in the things that matter at the end of the day. I was telling somebody recently, I said, kindness has been so underrated. People don't think about being kind anymore as something fantastic because the whole world has become so unkind. All you have to do is to go online and you just see the kind of comments that people pass about other people, and you're like, that's harsh. That's harsh. So Let's Talk About It is about revamping those virtues that are good, making us look at ourselves, you as an individual, your family members, your friends. And that's why I said, please send the link out to them so that they can join us. Thank you so much. Crew, do we go on? Do we have anything to play? Hello?
Let's go on
Hello?
now.
Yes.
Can you hear
Are we,
me? Yeah.
are we playing anything or should I go ahead?
Please go ahead, Ma.
Okay. All right. All right. So we're just going to continue. One more time, please. We're playing with the time. When I say playing, we're trying to figure out the best time for the Saturday program. we stream live from Nigeria, and it's been so difficult trying to find a time, good time on Saturday. So I want to throw this out, please. What would a Friday night work? It's just once a month. Would a Friday night work? With a Sunday night work? Well, what do you think? I know that during the weekdays, we can't do an afternoon program, definitely, because we're all at work, typically. And so we're looking at it. It just came to my mind right now. Let's ask our audience, let's ask, our co-counselors, what time do you think would work? It's a suggestion. You can say, oh, is it Friday night? Do you think Friday night will work? Do you think Sunday? I think that's actually, a challenge I'm going to give out to the crew right now. Maybe we should create a poll and send it out and see what comes in. Friday night, Sunday night. Let's look at those two. I don't know why that came to my mind so strongly as I started to speak, because we just concentrated on Saturday, but something just brought that to my mind. Maybe it's the Holy Spirit, maybe it's just my own thinking. I'm not sure yet. Okay. All right, thank you. Today we're talking about the validation trap. The validation trap. And of course, you have to say, what is validation? Validation is typically, what, approval, approving something, accepting something, certifying that something is, acceptable. That's what validation is. Saying that something is true, saying something is real. You can say, they're doing validation of certificates, For instance, let's see, is this person's certificate authentic? So that's what validation is. But when we take it into another level, we're looking at validation as a human being in relationships. Validation is what? It's getting the approval, getting the acceptance nod or the applause or the clap or whatever it is from other people, from somebody else. It could be an individual, it could be a group, it could be a set. That's what validation is. Getting that approval, getting that nod, getting that applause, getting that recognition, that yes, and before we even start saying, I don't think, no, guess what? Every single human being on earth desires to be validated. Every single human being on earth desires to be validated. And that's because that's how we are created, to have that validation. We'll go back to, we'll get on to a part of it that might be, but we need validation as human beings. Nobody can go through life and say, I don't need anybody's approval. It's not true. When people say those things, they are speaking from a place of hurt. They are speaking from a place of pain, of rejection, most times. They are speaking from a place of, I've tried so hard, it's not working, so I don't need anybody's approval. So they're rebelling, but it is still not deep enough. It's not deep enough that in their hearts, that that's what they really mean. Many times it could be that they're crying out like, I just wish somebody would validate me. So is validation a bad thing? Is it a wrong thing? Obviously, it's not by itself. By itself, it's not. I'm going to ask a question. How many of us realize that we seek validation from God a lot? Yeah, you want that nod from God. I know that I do. I want God to say, that's my girl. I want God to be able to say, hey, Mabel, Foluke, Flaky, hey, that's my child. We seek that validation. So ultimately, we desire to please God, and pleasing God means that we are seeking his validation. So it means that validation by itself is not bad. Are we on the same page? I hope so. Validation by itself is not a bad thing. Guess what? Babies actually seek validation. When a child has done something, a toddler, baby, when they do something, even when they start walking, when they start taking those steps, when you see mommy and daddy, aunties and uncles clapping, hey, guess what? They want to do it more. That's part of validation. They are seeking it. So you might not have the name for it, and you might never have thought about it like, I'm seeking validation, but that's what we do. Even from when we're babies, you want that validation from somebody else. from some group, from a human being. Say about validation before I continue. You have anything to say? Say validation. Is that, do you realize that you seek validation even as a human being by yourself? Yeah, we all do. Every single one of us does. Every single one of us. All right. But our topic today is the validation trap. So what is a trap? What is a trap? A trap is something that keeps you caged. A trap is like a pit that one can fall into. A trap is something that does not let you become more than you are. I'm looking at that. And then it's a trap can be something that actually, holds you down. So like for instance, when you set a rat trap, so if there's rats in the neighborhood and you put a rat trap, what you're trying to do is to catch that rat so that rat can no longer move. And in most cases, you want that rat to be dead when you see the trap. So a trap it's not a positive thing. It's not something positive. It's something that holds back. It's something that prevents one from moving forward. It's something that prevents one from making progress. So when we say the validation trap, we're talking about validation being a good thing, but if you fall into the trap of it can now become a negative thing. You can become a negative thing. That's what it is, the validation trap. Like, how do you get into that? And, when you think about validation trap, you think about it in different ways. The first thing that comes to your mind, my mind, is social media. Social media is an amazing space, and it's an amazing thing, and it's working wonders all over the world, making things happen. But at the same time, it has its effects. It has its negative effects. So, for instance, how do we get into the validation channel? And if you have heard any stories or if you have gone through it yourself without even realizing it, please, we want to share. Let's talk about it. It's not for me to just keep talking. No, it's for all of us to be able to share our experiences, ideas, and learn from each other. Because the Bible says that there's safety in the multitude of counselors. All right. So for social media, for instance, you might not even realize it. But let's look at something as simple as your status. And you might not even know that, oh my goodness, I'm actually seeking validation. And not only am I seeking validation, I'm getting into a trap when I don't get the validation. So you post something, or someone posts something, and the next thing you see is they're checking it every minute. They're checking who has responded, who has checked it, who has seen it. That's part of the validation trap, where we get so wound up in other people's nod. No, that's not like a hand. We even get so upset that people, you're not even acknowledging that it's there. I was talking to some young adults, I work with young adults, youth, and teenagers, and I love it. And I was talking to somebody, she's in her 20s, and she said, Auntie Flaky, when is my birthday? All those that don't acknowledge me, when is their birthday? We don't acknowledge them. So I said, what if they've forgotten? She said, no. If they check my status and they see it and they don't respond, it means that they are mean now. It means that they are doing this. I was just thinking to myself, oh my goodness. Before social media era and all that, if someone didn't see you, they wouldn't be able to see anything now unless they call you on the phone, and you won't get so upset. But here's this young lady telling me that, in fact, she's ready for them today. It's her birthday. But instead of enjoying the birthday, she's thinking about, let me see who will check my status and not greet me. Let me see who will see my fine dress and not acknowledge it. I had a good laugh with her, but I also pointed it out to her that, you know what, at times people are busy. Because I know that has happened to me before. I have mistakenly checked status. I'm trying to do something and my hand just hits the status button for somebody, and I now see it. Because I'm doing something else, I hurriedly move away from it. It doesn't mean I'm not acknowledging the person. But imagine if that person was like, so you mean she didn't even say anything? Meanwhile, there's nothing on my mind. Am I speaking with somebody today? Is somebody hearing it? Okay, I've spoken for like 15 minutes by myself now. So I want somebody else to talk. validation trap. What comes to your mind? Have you experienced it? What does it mean? Have you heard any story that this is horrible? Or have you seen it happen? Have you experienced it yourself? Please just raise your digital hand and the crew would unmute. The crew would unmute you and you'll be able to speak. There are just 12 of us on this call. Thank you for those that have joined us just now. Once again, we're experimenting with the time. We know that in Nigeria, it's birthday time, it's wedding time, it's party time, but we're just trying to find the best time for our Saturday program. And we also said, please reach out to us and let us know. Do you think a Friday night would be a good time? It's just once a month, okay? Or do you think a Sunday night would be a better idea? What do you think? What do you think will work for you? And while you're at that, please remind people that we're here. Your status, please check it out for us. Go your status, put stuff for us. Let us know. It's important that we do this. One of the reasons why I'm saying this so much is because, especially for young people, even adults, I remember reading a story and I was so sad. I was so sad about it. Talking about validation trap. There was a young girl in the United States who had put something, high school, secondary school. And at that age, people can be very, very awkward. They're trying to get into themselves. And that sense of belonging is so important to them. And so I think for her prom, she posted something about her prom. And people just went out and they just said all kinds of horrible things. Why did you post this picture? You don't even look nice. Oh my goodness, that dress is hideous. Who gave you those colors? And they went on this girl. Meanwhile, this girl was already battling emotional issues with self-esteem. She did the most horrible thing because she just couldn't deal with it. And unfortunately, she didn't have a situation like this where you could realize that, it's no big deal. You'll get over it some people soon, and you outgrow seeking their validation if you build yourself. This young girl cut her wrist. Her parents were not home. She got in the bathtub. She had found out, and people said mean things, and she just felt I can't go on. It was junior prom. Yes, it was junior prom. So she was just thinking that I can't go back to that school again for senior prom. She didn't talk to her parents about it. She just felt the easiest way out was to take her life. The easiest way, just from something as simple as the comments that people made. Simple as comments that people made, validation trap. And she cut her wrist and she sat in the bathtub and she bled to death. She was 17. She was 17. You might think, these teenagers, they're extreme, but everybody needs a sense of belonging. So the validation trap, have you fallen for it before? Have you fallen into it before? Have you been trapped before? And then you got out of it? Or are you dealing with it right now? Or do you know someone that is dealing with it? Please, let's hear from you. Thank you very much. Raise your digital hand for me, please, and share. Raise your digital hand so we don't continue to just have only me talk. It's not a sermon. It's not a sermon. Raise your digital hand, please. Anybody has any experience to share? Our time is running out because we're trying to make sure that the online version is not so long so that we don't waste all your data. It's not a waste, so that we don't chop all your data. But what are your thoughts when you saw the topic validation trap? What came to your mind? And then apart from that, now that you've heard me speak, now you've heard me explain it, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Is there something that you're dealing with? Is it something that you've seen somebody else deal with? Do you think it's just on social media? I don't
We have
think
a
so.
hand now.
Okay, you have a hand. So, all right, please, introduce yourself and let's get the person on. Thank you so much.
Hello, ma.
Hello, ma. We can hear you.
All right. Good afternoon once again. Good afternoon, everyone. Bukola Amaka is my name. Thank you very much for this topic, because it's something, if we get right, that can make our life or can mar it. Why do I say so? Is because, like you said, we all want people's recognition, acceptability, validation, as it were. But it's always good when it is coming in the positive angle of it,
Yeah.
When it goes negative, especially for the younger ones, it can turn to bullying and inacceptability, and that can make one to lose one's identity. And like we know, the same people that will say Hosanna can also tomorrow change their opinion and say crucify him. And so if we are not focused in life to really know our purpose, it can make us to lose our identity when we
Yes.
fall into that trap of validation, when we believe that everything we do must be validated before we can say, yes, we are doing the right thing. So I think the best validation we need is from God. And once we see that it's acceptable to God, we should go all out to do whatever God has put in our mind to do. Because, of course, I don't think we live our life for anybody, we live for God. And if that is the case, to get to the greatness that God has proposed for every one of us in life, then we should dwell less on people's validation, because some they are not validating not because we are not doing the right thing, but they are not validating because they don't want you to feel that you are doing the right thing.
Ah,
From the enemy's angle, and if that is not well taken care of, can lead to one losing one's identity. Thank you, ma'am.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Samuki. You just made you made many great points. But the one you said about some of them they're not going to validate you. They're not validating you, because they don't even want you to do the right thing anyway. And guess what? Some actually acknowledge it in their heart, but they don't validate it to you as a person, because they're like, what are you feeling like? What's wrong with you? So let me just keep it in the closet. But let me also ask a question. Do we validate others? Do we validate others? Do we express appreciation, approval? That's one other part of it. This validation trap. Do we? So the topic is just getting broader. Do you, as a person, do you validate other people? Do you see them and say something positive? Or you see them, or they do something and you just like, I'm going to ignore. Someone told me something many years ago. She said, you're always passing people compliments. And I thought that was weird. I said, is it wrong? She said, no, in Lagos, we don't do that. So I was, hanging out with friends. I'm like, what do you mean? We don't do that. What's all that? Everybody's holding their, it's like maintain your steez. And I said, so she didn't use the word steez, but she said everybody's just like holding their own. I said, I don't know how to do that. If I see something that I like or something that I think I would do, I would say it immediately. What is not taking anything away from me. So that's my challenge to all of us here now. Do you validate others? Do you encourage them? Validation can be encouraging. It can be a form of encouragement to people, you know, not so much that you want anybody to get into the trap, like my sister just said. So you don't want anybody to just be seeking a validation. No, 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 no. You don't want that. You must learn to do things because that's what God has put in your heart to do, or it's what you desire to do. Because not everybody has a relationship with God in that sense. Okay. But you as a person, do you validate others? Validation means what? Approval, acceptance. It means to give approval, to give acceptance, and it means to seek it as well. Um, it means to certify and say, this is good. For me, it means encouragement too, to validate and say, wow, that's a good one there. I think it's important to have people that do that, and that we are people that validate others when it is good. But my sister also said something that made me laugh. She said, those that shout Hosanna can also shout crucified. And that is social media. That is social media. I remember, for those of you that are joining us, this is Nigeria, it's Lagos. And a few months ago, an actress, a popular actress, Yaba Ojo, her daughter got married. And oh my goodness, it was all agog. Everybody was talking about it. And, it was beautiful. I don't know them, but you're just seeing it. Then the next thing, something happened to her. And if you had seen how some people came out, say the same person you were hating and appreciating, I say, hey, yes, now, how won't that happen? She was showing off. She was this, she was that. And I kept thinking to myself, oh my goodness, this poor woman, if she was living for the validation of these people, they've just killed her. Because I think her house got burnt or something. And some people just came, you see, now, it has to happen. I'm like, the same people that were validating, same people that were shouting. So, my sister, you are absolutely right. We must not live for the validation of other people. We must not. Our lives must not be based on what people say, what people think about us. As long as we are able to, put it in line with God. So that's one aspect. I'm widening it. What about validation in marriage? Validation in marriage. What is that? Do you know what is validation in marriage? I'm going to stop again so that somebody else can speak. Then we'll continue. Validation in marriage. But please, whatever angle you're coming from, it doesn't have to be the last thing I said. It could be from any angle or to
We have
share
two
an
hands.
experience. All right, please, let's go.
We
Thank
have
you.
two hands up,
I'm
so we're going
excited. I'm
to
going to
take.
mute myself so I could hear them. Thank you.
We have two hands up, so we're going to take Claire Omayo first. Okay, you can speak now, Claire.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I have to put my video off. So I think my profile picture looks better than I look right now. So is that not validation? I'm seeking validation by making sure that it's the better part of me that shows. Okay, so I just want to share, my sister, I think Buki, talked about the fact that we really do not need anybody to say positive things about us or to think positive thoughts about us, because after all, the man is not faithful to man, more or less. That's it. Our thoughts could change anytime. But I just like to share an experience I had with a Gen Z who was working with me some years ago. I didn't realize why she was always kind of ill-mannered in my thoughts, but I've learned over the years to not take people by the way they present themselves. If I need to work with you, I work with you, anyhow it is. But one day something happened and she came out and told me that I don't listen to her. I'm not interested in how she goes about achieving whatever deliverables have been set for her. And in my mind, I was there thinking all the time that why does this young woman always think that she will come and discuss with me? Because I felt she was wasting my time, time that I should be taking to do something else. She will come in the morning and say, this is how I'm going to go about this. This is how I'm going to go about that. And in my mind, I'm thinking, it's because we trust you to do it. That's why it's been assigned to you. Why are you now coming to tell me the details of this thing? So the day I never told her, but I'm sure she must have seen the impatience on my face or something, or maybe I quickly dismissed her or something. Anyway, one day she came out and was very annoyed and told me how I'm not ready to listen to her. I don't care about her. All I want is for the work to get done. So I had to change. I had to start giving her those few minutes every morning for her to talk to me. And I'd listen to her and I'd, tell her whether I agreed with her or felt that there was something she should do differently. And because of that, I've learned to be more attentive to all my colleagues, whether they're above me or below me. I try to pay attention, give them active attention. We talk about active listening these days. I try to give them active attention and to respond I try not to ignore anything, whether it's an email, a WhatsApp message, because now WhatsApp has entered our official world too. We use it, as a form of communication. I try to make sure I acknowledge everyone. And if somebody has done something, I say thank you, So that's we may feel that, people don't need to be validated, but for some people, it's important for them. And we need to just learn to validate people in a positive manner. And when we have some negative feedback, also find a way to give that negative feedback without crushing the person, but making the person better. May God help us. Amen.
So we have another hand. Sinchi would be coming up now.
Sorry, before Sinchi comes up, Sinchi, good to have you here. I'm glad that Claire shared that information with us, that piece of experience too. Because many times, truly, you might just think, why is this girl wasting my time? Why is she doing this? But I'm more excited at the fact that the girl blew up one day and spoke up, because Claire would never have learned. So validation is not a bad thing by itself, but yes, we don't want it to become a crutch. But like I said at that time when I asked you, validate other people. So that's what she got there. So now she's learned to validate others and listen in a way that would make them feel like, yes, I'm here, I'm contributing. Especially for that generation. For that generation, the millennials, some millennials, and some level of millennials, and then the Gen Zs. Oh my goodness, that validation is important, because people think they are frivolous, but they're not. They think deeper. And because they think deeper, things hurt them much more easily, much more. The kind of things that you would have shrugged off, it would stick to them like glue. And you have to be trying to take it off. Does it mean that we should encourage, no, them to remain, like that? No. But we should help them, not by abandoning them, but at the same time, help them by helping, validating, let them get a feedback, and then let them know that you don't always have to rely on this. Thank you so much again, Claire. Thank you. I like that experience that you shared. All right, we're going to have Sinchi now, so I'm going to mute myself so I can listen. Thank you.
Good
Go
morning. How
ahead.
are you? Good morning. Of course, I'm Flaky is my friend, so that's why I'm up at 7 in the morning to hear this interesting topic. Um, but what I wanted to say about listening to it, it's interesting. I didn't even think of it until I logged on. And this is actually a very I wish more people are on this Zoom call, because this topic is not only very interesting, it's very serious. It's something a lot, like you said earlier, a lot of young people need to hear. Um, because the term validation trap is a psychological and a behavior pattern where people become overly dependent on external validations of other people, like approval, praise, recognition. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people use it to maintain their self-worth or their self-identity and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. It is natural. However, there is a significant negative consequences and connotation that affects a lot of people's mental health, relationship, careers. And there's so many ramifications that could go wrong. Like you mentioned about that young lady that hurt herself. Sometimes, so what do you notice? That there's low self-esteem, there's anxiety, insecurity, depression. There's so many imposter syndromes. We all have it. However, if we are not rooted, if you listen to, I don't know, I'm sure you remember when we talked about hearing and knowing God, like, Jesus Christ, the shepherd, and we, the sheep. He said, first, I know his voice. And then as time goes on, like David told us, he now knew God. He wanted to spend more time daily. He started from 3 times a day. He said something in, I want to say, was it Psalms? He spent, I think Psalms 22, he said, don't forsake me. And then 21, he told us about the shepherd leading the sheep when you know his voice. So what am I trying to say here? There's a difference when you're looking for validation for external people and when you're looking for validation from God, because we know God will grow us up. He will lead us from right from wrong. We have an internal relationship with him. So this is why this is very important, especially also those who are raising children. What you are putting in them, to know that just because a friend said something or a comment about you does not make you who you are. Then that's when we now need to start differentiating. Like I tell my children every day,
Mm,
20 friends will not be friends for 20 years.
mm,
These are young people who their mind are still formulating what they want to do. My husband said something to one of my daughters, and I laugh about it, but when I think about it, it's so true. He said, and men on this line, don't feel offended. He said, look, these young men, all they care about is those cherries on your chest. And guess what? Because so basically, don't get sucked in because somebody thinks you're pretty or somebody thinks you're cute.
true.
There's timing for everything. So I
Everything.
try to relate what the Bible says when I'm talking to my children. The
Very true.
Ecclesiastes 3:3 tells you, like, there's a season for everything. So you want to help your children, you want to spend time. And it goes back to one of my favorite words: intentional. You have to be, like our sister just said, she had to take time out to spend
Yes.
with her colleague. So
Mm-hmm.
everything you do, you need to be intentional. We need to spend time intentionally teaching our children, because if we don't teach them now, they will learn outside. That favorite word, what they don't learn at home, they will learn outside the
Mm-hmm.
hard way. So you spend time making corrections. Anything that you see that doesn't look right, don't say, oh, they'll pacify them. Spend that time teaching them the difference from wrong and right, because if you don't become intentional now, you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to see the consequences later. So,
Mm,
and basically I can go on and on about that, but it's very important about, and this is what will help them with that validation trap when external forces try to. That will also help them, like that young lady. If people don't say happy birthday, as I got older, like when we were younger, you do certain things. I don't wait for anybody to celebrate me on my birthday. Flaky already know I'm celebrating loud and clear. Hello, it's my birthday. We about to celebrate. Like, I don't need anybody to celebrate me. I celebrate myself. Don't wait for anybody to celebrate you, to do anything, or if they don't call you. I may even call you, girl, did you know it's my birthday today? So I know that everybody cannot be that confident, but it,
then.
it, it takes time. I wasn't always this confident. So it takes time. You know who you like and what you want. You start growing your craft in Christ, in God, because he will humble you. He'll bring you where you feel like, okay, girl, your head is getting too big. Bring it down a little bit. And then, so things like this, we need to be able to put things in context with
Mm-hmm.
relationship with God, and things will work out. I feel like I'm
Thank
about
you
to
so
preach.
much.
Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Thank you so much, Sinchi. Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you. I love, the angles that you've come from, especially just even saying, learning to celebrate yourself. Learning to, and I know it doesn't come easy because at times we're battered from different sides, we're dealing with things inside. But once you start doing it, learning to celebrate your own successes, learning to celebrate who you are, looking in the mirror and validating yourself. We're going to talk about that some other time too, because you know what? Many times the validation is coming from so the seeking of validation that can put somebody in a trap. Like I said, validation is not a bad thing by itself, but when you can get trapped by it, it means that inside You are probably struggling with self-esteem, insecurity, anxiety about who you are, or just your life. So you have to just go back and say, why am I always seeking this? Why do I want this? And that's what she said. Learn to celebrate yourself. Learn to celebrate yourself. As you do that more, not because, of course, like she's also said, you don't want to become conceited, because that in itself is not a virtue that God would want in you. Don't become conceited, but learn to celebrate yourself. Um, and that brings me to the validation in marriage again. I'm to talk about, what about validation in marriage? You know, I think I've said this before, when somebody said, why do I have to tell my wife I love you? When I married her, if I didn't love her, I wouldn't have married her. And then so when it changes, I'll tell her. I said, excuse me, sir, that's so wrong. That's so wrong. Why are you not wearing the same pair of pants that you wore that time? Haven't you been changing it? Because your body is changing, sir. Because style is changing, sir. It means that you need to change and just think about it, like, how do I improve myself? If you're improving yourself on the outside, you can improve your spouse on the inside too by letting them know the good things that they're doing. Validation in marriage is important. And many times we always think it's the women that seek validation. Men need to be validated as well. But I also know about this other part of when people withhold validation. Have you heard about that? When in a marriage, somebody withholds validation because of their own insecurities. So if anybody is hearing this or they're going to play it later, let me say this to you. When you're in a relationship, it could even be girl to girl, boy to boy, as in just a friendly relationship. And people do, and this person, you can see that they don't want to celebrate you. They don't want to acknowledge the things you're doing. It means that they are struggling with their own insecurities. It means that they are. You're in a community and somebody, I have experienced that. That's the truth. I'm just, I'm not even seeking validation or anything, because since Jesus said that, I've outgrown that. I truly, 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 I'm not the kind of person that say, oh, be telling me I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. But yes, do I want to hear that this is good? Yes, I do. I do want that. But I don't want a situation whereby I'm living on that. It doesn't become a crutch. You know, like when you have a fall and your legs are broken and you have to use crutches. I don't want validation to be a crutch for me. I want to be able to look on the inside of me and say, hey, you're able to do this, or you've done this. Fine. You don't have to be acknowledged for it. But I'm going back to that part again. Do you acknowledge others? Do you validate others? If you have anybody in your life that is in your life, that is a friend, inverted commas, I'm saying inverted commas for a reason, but they don't acknowledge anything good in your life, please be careful. Be careful. They don't have to flatter you. I don't flatter. I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how to suck up to people or to flatter. But when I see things, definitely I would speak. But if somebody is in your life and you're that close and there's nothing good that they've ever been able to say to you or about you, and then it gets worse if it's the opposite they're always saying to you. Sister, brother, step back. They're not good for you. Whether you think you're strong enough or not, they are killing your esteem. They are. So validation, you don't want to fall into a trap. On the other hand, you don't want people around you that don't ever acknowledge anything good about you. Be careful about that, please. Validation in marriage. I remember speaking to someone and the person said that her husband, that thing shocked me because I think it's petty. And I think at the same time, is the lack of security in his own heart. He said it was their anniversary and she had bought cards for him and she had put it in the car as a surprise. So that when he gets into the car, it's where he'll see it. When he got into the car, she said he now called and said, or he asked someone to, I can't remember what it was. But the long and short of it was that she put it in the car for him to see. And then she didn't have anything from him, like no card, nothing. But after a while, I think when he must have found the cards or the presents or whatever it is that she gave, he now sent a message and said, oh, by the way, I have this and this hidden in this place for you. She said, Mabel, I don't think he intended for me to see it if I did not give him anything. I started laughing. It was so funny because I'm like, This is petty. Then that made us now start talking about other things. And she said, yeah, that I really think that, he doesn't validate me. He doesn't want to validate me. And I don't know why. And I said, because he's insecure. She said, how can he be insecure? He's a big guy now. He's this. I said, it doesn't matter. At times, people's backgrounds, where they have come from, doesn't matter what they have achieved. It still keeps them back. One of our daddies, Daddy Kanija, used to say, your background will not put you on the ground. Some people's backgrounds, it could be educational, it could be social, it could be family. No matter what they've achieved, keeps them down. It keeps them down so much that even in the marriage, they cannot loosen up and validate the spouse. Am I speaking something that you understand? Have you seen this happen? Do you think it's something that spouses need to talk about? Do you think it's something that do you think it's real? And are you that person that is withholding validation from your spouse? I'm just asking. If you're that person, maybe you should ask yourself why you are holding back. Maybe you should ask yourself, if the person has hurt you or something, I understand. Then maybe that's the time to get it out and say, you know what, I can't acknowledge good because of what you've done to me or whatever, like that. But if it's constant and you just see, you must go back and ask yourself. Because you see, every action, they say, so every action is an equal and opposite reaction. That's in physics, right? But there's nothing comes from nothing. Nothing comes from nothing. It might not be you directly. It might just be they, and they're dealing with their own things. But whatever it is, it's something to talk about. It's something to look at because I think what always hits me the most is that no matter how long a marriage is, it's the quality of it that matters. It's the quality of the marriage that matters. Oh, we've married for 40 years. Fantastic. But those 40 years, what's the quality of it? And we can all build quality into our marriages by validation, by accepting each other, by supporting, by words of kindness, by just being there. That's validation. That's validation. I'm sure you know that, this relationship thing, I love to talk about that. So I have to take it there. All right, anybody else? I want to hear from you. Our time is moving quickly. We only have a few more minutes. We don't want to have 2 hours of your data. So we're trying to, minimize so that we get the content points out. So anybody? I have another question. How do you deal with someone that's in a validation trap? How do you help them? What comes to your mind? You have someone that is always seeking validation, always seeking. How deal with a friend? That if you that's all. They live for applause. They live because an applause is validation. Yes, when you sing in church and they clap for you, that's validation. When you do something, that's validation. So like I said at the beginning, we all need validation, and we all seek it one way or the other, whether we're doing it directly or indirectly. Even in our jobs, when you go get that MBA, validation. When you go and get that certification for your profession, validation. That's what it is. So we seek it without even realizing that we're seeking it. But how do you help somebody who is in a validation pit? Who is in a validation trap? Have you met somebody like that before? I have like 5 questions out there now, so you can pick anyone, share your own experience or somebody else's experience. Talk, just speak so that we can, learn from you and you can, unlearn some things too, whichever way it goes. All right. Dami, do we have any hands up or anybody wants to share?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, we have to have it up. How do we deal with validation? Validation in marriage, I spoke about that. How do you deal with that?
Okay,
How do you deal with...
we have Mrs. Bukola Iziamaka on
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. I want to speak about validation in marriage. I want to say that it's one of the core pillars that holds marriage for a wife and the husband. Simple things like appreciating maybe your spouse, the way he dresses, can make a man to feel big, that yes, oh, my wife can see that I'm dressing so nice. For instance, there was a day, it happened that my husband, he had left the house. My husband is the type that wants to dress well, and he feels good when he dresses well. So my husband
Good.
left home one day, about 5 minutes, he has gone. He came back to say, do you see my dress? See nice? I was surprised. so, so I got it from that day that any day he
Yes.
wants to leave the house, unless I'm not happy with him, he will
Yes.
just shake head and begin to roll and go. But any day you as simple as, oh, this your blue is combining well. You see him, his
Mm-hmm.
shoulder will be raised and you'll be bouncing away. So I
That's
think
so
for
good.
husband and wife, we need to,
Mm-hmm.
that is complementing one another, and it's
Yes.
a kind of juice for marriage. Thank you. Mhm.
Thank you so much for sharing and sharing personally too. I like that. And it's true that your recognition of it, that this matters to this man. Oh. He just, he wants you know, he wants to he wants me to see that I'm looking good. It's a very good thing. It's a very good. I have a friend, I don't know if she's on this call right now. And she said that one of the things that she has learned to do is, if her husband is not acknowledging it, that she will go to him and say, can't you see my hair? I just got my hair drawn. She said something about it. See my nails, and we're laughing about it. But the reality of it is this: she knows that she needs that. And a good spouse would recognize it and begin to do it. And yes, we do get mad at our spouses. So at that time, when you're not talking, he knows that this person is angry with me. And that's okay too. Because we're humans and emotions are okay. But they are transient. The emotions will pass and then we'll go back to where we are again. Thank you so much, sis, for sharing that. Please, if you're married, you're on this call, validation is important. Validation is important. We need to do it more, and especially because the world has, like I said, on social media, people are battered. So battered that you're like, what is it? You don't even know this person. Of course, I see things and I think, this is horrible. What is this? But I'm not going to go past such a horrible comment. You know, like that young girl that posted her picture and they just went crazy. And poor girl killed herself. She killed herself. It's a shame that that happened. It's very painful that it happened, for the parents, because I don't know her. But let's learn to withhold bad comments and give good things that will validate others. I don't believe in flattery. I'm saying it again. Don't flatter me. Tell me what is true. Because flattery means that you're just saying it for saying sake. It means it's not skin deep. It's not inside. It's just on the surface. It's not inside. But tell me the truth. Telling the truth doesn't mean that it has to be a horrible thing. Because at times we think that when we say, I'm just speaking the truth. If you speak the truth and it hurts, it still hurts. It still hurts. The fact that it's the truth doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. So let's find a way to be able to say things to people if we need them to change. Let's find a way to be able to say it. All right. Anybody? We're here. We're talking about it with Flaky. The topic today is the validation trap. And we have already, you know, asserted that validation is not a bad thing in itself, but you fall into a trap when you're consistently and constantly just seeking it. Everything you do is about getting a nod, an applause, an acknowledgement from somebody or some people. And then when it doesn't come, it can destroy who you are. We have to be careful about that. And we also that in marriage is important, very important to validate each other. And in friendship, what about just friends? I'm thankful. I have friends that validate me, and I validate my friends too. It's important. It's important that we do that. I would say, okay, you did that. That's your doctorate degree. I am so proud of you, girl. Your job, you've been on it for this, and it doesn't have to be anything physical. Or you see the person and it's physical, and you look so nice. How are you doing this? This is not. There's nothing. It doesn't take away from you. Doesn't take away from you. Doesn't take away from you as well. Let's validate each other. But let's not get into the trap. Anybody else? Any experiences you want to share? Just have a few minutes to go. Just a few
Uh,
minutes to go.
Sinchi and is up as well, but I don't know if she wants
Okay.
to say
But before,
something.
okay, so Sinchi is up, yes. But who else? Because both Sinchi and Sabuki have spoken. I think she's going to speak again. But I want to hear from the others. So you mean I've been speaking rubbish all day long? You haven't gotten anything from what I've said, or no memory of anything has come to you, please now share with us. Please, please, please share. We need to hear from you because we all learn. Every single thing I've heard today, I have taken. I have my notepad. I'm written. I've written it down, and I go back and think about many of these things. All right, thank you. Over to you, Dami.
So I'm going to unmute Caroline now. Then after that, since you would talk as well, Caroline, up to you, over to you.
Hi, Auntie. So recently I realized I had an issue in church when they tell you turn to your neighbor and tell them something nice. I realized that I look at my neighbor and because I don't know, I struggle with it. So I realized that I'm able to give validation if I see something that strikes out to me, like if I see something I really like about them, I can, yeah, then give them that compliment. But if it doesn't really like hit me, I struggle with giving a compliment. So when the pastor says, turn to your neighbor and just tell them something nice, and sometimes me and the person we just end up hugging ourselves. Now
Good.
the problem is that I like validation. Like I want to hear it. If I'm
Mhm.
dressed and I'm going out and someone tells me, "Oh, you look good," or "You smell nice," I just say thank you. And I also realized that was a problem. Like I was supposed to say some. I felt like I started to learn that I'm supposed to say something nice back to them, but I just say thank you. And I worked. I just feel like because most people here, if I watch others when someone else gives them a compliment, they always say something nice back to the person, but it was not something I was doing. And it's just something that I've been thinking that I should really, really work on. And then far back again, another thing I realized was when I started getting into relationships, I just felt like, oh, it's the guy that is supposed to like give me compliments as the girl, and my own,
Mm.
I'm just supposed to be taking compliments. So I wasn't giving my partners at the time, I wasn't giving them compliments until
Mhm.
one said something one day, and I was really shocked because in my head I felt like, but you're supposed to know now. But I've never told them before, but they did not tell me it would have been an issue. So this
Mm.
is something that I'm personally really working on myself because honestly, I like to hear people tell me I look good, I smell nice, but I don't
Mhm.
tell people most of the times. So I want to start working on myself to always give back validation.
Well done. And thank you for sharing, Carol. Honestly, thank you. And I'm glad that you realized that about yourself, that you know what, I like to get it, but how come I'm not giving it? So thank God for this topic. You're going to go into the recesses and say, why don't I give it? But you know what? Let me even correct you on one thing. You don't have to compliment somebody because they complimented you immediately. Let me tell you why. If you pass, it's a different thing if we're at a party and then, oh, you look nice. Oh, you look nice too. That's fine. Or you see, if on a daily basis you're my roommate or I'm going down and oh, your hair is fine. I don't have to say the same thing to you or say something similar. But it means that I must learn to give compliments as well. That person should not be devoid of getting compliments from me. Am I making sense? Because at times people can also feel like, because I said it to you, does not mean you have to say it to me now. You know, we have background noise, so please let's minimize that. Thank you. So that's it. So but I'm so excited and I'm happy that you realize that, and say, I think one of the things I've learned to do, if I don't know the person in church or in a gathering, and they say, turn around and tell them something good about them, I always find it immediately. It could be their top, it could be the hair. Somehow it will just strike me. I don't know. It will just strike me. And I would say it. But if nothing comes to your mind, just tell them God loves you or God got you. That in itself is a truth and is a validation. And you'll be surprised that somebody came to church and all they needed to hear was that. So don't always think that it has to be something, on the physical as well, too. But I'm glad you're working on it because, yes, those compliments are important. So all of us are going to be waiting for compliments from Carol from now on. All of us are going to be waiting for it. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Sinchi, wanted to say something. Uh-oh. Dami, hello. Can you hear me though?
Okay, now they've unmuted me. Hi,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, what I wanted to say quickly was that you were talking about validation in marriage and relationships and stuff like
Mhm.
that, or do you,
Mhm.
you know, it depends on, I tell people, learn who you're with. Sometimes people are not on the same um marriages, as we know, people come from different walks of life, coming together to be
Mhm.
one, and it depends
Mhm.
on, so you learn who you're with. After I do like what your friend does. I will come to you and say, hey, how do I look, whatever. And if you don't say anything, I will even ask, am I not sexy? My husband will say, you're even over sexy. Hey. you know, so me, I will go in your face. But then I also learned the person I'm with, that's not his personality. He's super, I'm the loud one, he's super quiet. So I try to overcompensate sometimes. And sometimes I'm not looking for it, because whether he gives it to me, somebody else will give it to me. And, and you get to know who you are. So, and you know who you're dealing with.
For your
Sometimes I
way.
notice that a lot of people, especially younger marriages, they let that become an issue. I
Mm.
remember when we first started early in our marriage, my husband would say something. I'm not the one who will make, because of course, trying to get married, you think, oh, once you get married, this person is going to give you everything you want in life, everything you've missed. And my husband will say to me, he would tell people, my wife wants me to give her the love her mother, her father did not give her, the love everybody. But you know what? Then he would talk, we would laugh, right? I said, what kind of human being is this? But as I started growing and knowing myself and becoming strong in the Lord, it is true. We've talked about this. Some of us have daddy issues, mommy issues, and we expect that as we got married, this man is supposed to give me everything that I'm.
Superman.
Exactly. But and so that's what I want to encourage people. Know who you with. Know that your validation is really in Christ, is really in God. Yes, we're looking for it from people, but
Mhm.
people can only give you what they have in them. If they don't have it, they can't give it. That
Yeah.
also has to go with relationships with friends. I mean, I have so many different types of friends, different friend
Okay.
groups. Some
Mhm.
friend groups, you notice that certain people don't say anything whenever you comment.
Mhm.
Guess what? You ignore it. I mean, like, I just like, okay, that's who they are. Maybe, everybody in the friend group are not
Mhm.
equally friendly to each other. So
That's
you
true.
now you now learn
That's true.
to deal with that on different content, different level, depending on how much time you have on your hands. So you just take it from there. So I mean, like, sometimes I will hear things from people say, if I say anything about my husband, that man adores you, Kiniko. And I'll be wondering, is this a different wife they're talking about, or is it the same me? Because he would never tell me the things I'll be
He's
hearing.
not expressive
The
like
way
that.
they the way they're describing wife, I say, are you sure it's
It's still
my
you.
wife,
Or
it's
he
still
has an
me?
extra wife.
Eh? Jesus. So just to say, learn who you're with, know that
Learn who
people,
you will.
everybody are not as outspoken, everybody's not as and some people are
Expressive.
overly speaks, so overly expressive. So
Mhm.
those are just some of the things to help us know how we deal with our relationships and our mates and friendships, period.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sinchi. You made me
Thank
laugh
you.
a lot. Thank
I
you.
know.
Thank you. Yes, and it's true. We do need to know who we're married to and know that at times their love language is very different. So maybe yours is words of affirmation, and that's validation, or and they're not giving it to you. But my challenge in when I do counseling for people that are getting married or people that are in a relationship that is having some trouble, because trouble is in relationship all the time anyway, just at different levels, okay? So it's not to put any stigma on anybody. Every single person in a marriage, in a relationship, there will be areas where there are rough points, and it's okay because you just get over the rough patches. That's what it is, you know. So when I'm counseling them, speaking to them either together or individually, if I see that one partner is heavy on words of affirmation, which is validation in that sense, and the other one is mute, and say, but can't they understand that that's not how? I said, no, the other part is this. When I'm encouraging one part to say, learn who you're with, accept them, they validate you in other ways and all. I also say to the one who's mute, sister, open your mouth, learn. Like Carol said, that she's learning, that she's opening herself up to learning. I always tell the other party to, you know what? You can't use that as a crutch forever. You can't use that as an excuse forever. Somebody said, I love you. And I didn't grow up hearing that. I said, you didn't grow up eating with fork and knife because the background said he grew up in the village. I said, but now you're eating with fork and knife. How did you learn it? You learned. He said, Pastor Flaky, you did have to. I said, no, we make excuses at times, you know, when we want to be comfortable with our not doing something right. It's a different thing if there's no way to learn it. But over time, just learn. So I always say to the parties, learn. Yes, I know this is who you are, and that's fine. And I'm always happy to tell the other party, please accept them for who they are. But you two begin to open up. So there are so many things that we did not do, you know, or we did not know how to do when we were growing up or in our own environment. But once you're in a relationship with somebody else and you're in that environment, learn how it is done. You know, I think the fork and knife one was the one that actually hit him the most when I said it to him, like, Auntie Flaky, you said that. I said, because you told me how you grew up. And I'm happy that you told me. So I'm telling you now that you're now GQ guy, you know, everybody sees you and they're like, hey, see this guy. That same way you learned how to dress, that same way you learned how to speak, the same way you learned how to put your pocket knife, the same way you're going to learn how to communicate affection to your wife, the way she can receive it. So that's my challenge to anybody that is on this call and say, I don't know how to do that. Be like Carol. Honestly, I'm so inspired by what Carol said. Learn, pick it out, find something to say, find something good to say about that. I think I've said this before, and it's true. Like for instance, many of us, you know, from the backgrounds that we have, our parents were not shouting, I love you, but their actions were shouting, I love you. But what I've also learned and realized is that even they, when they begin to see how we interact with our own children and what we say to them, they begin to pick it up. They begin to pick it up, meaning that even as old as they are learning. They are learning to communicate differently. It means we can do it as well. It means we can do it. It's been such an amazing time here, honestly. Always, always amazing. And let's talk about it. I learn, I get to laugh and everything. And every single person brings something onto the board. Every single person that has spoken here has brought something on. And not just for you that are listening, but for me, even as the host, I'm taking that because what Sinchese said last about just even accepting who the person is. Yeah, so I'm a counselor and I'm always trying to make people change to fit too. On the other hand, too, there's acceptance. Acceptance, and that's important. And I'm glad that she made that point. And you know, just thankful for this group. Thankful that we can talk like this and we can get others to join us and get others to join us in this conversation. Our desire and our prayer is that it gets larger, that we find that time. Please, one more time, I'm asking you, we're trying to find a suitable time for our weekend program. We've tried Saturday, we've tried 1 p.m. I think we tried 3 p.m., we tried 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is what we've tried the most, I think. I'm not sure. The crew will definitely know for sure, but we're throwing it out now as a group, and I think we're going to have to put something on Instagram too, or yeah, and ask, what about Friday evening? Would it work? What about Sunday evening? Would it work? You know, Friday afternoon won't work because of work, but What about other times? Or suggest other times, but it has to be a weekend. It can't be a weekday. So it has to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you can suggest a day of the week and timing, knowing that we have people that join us from all over the world. Very important. We have people in the UK right now. We have people in the other parts of Europe. We have somebody in Japan. That's the community that we have. So please just help us, help us, help us, help us. Thank you so much. Is there anybody that still has anything to say, Dami? We're going to be rounding up. So that, like I said, we don't want the online version to be, so long that people say, I got tired. Anybody else? Anything to add? Anything to say before we round up?
Right now, we do not have any hand.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna chip in one or two things.
Okay.
For people, for example, that their work, their profession needs people validation, because there are people like that. I'm one of such person. I'm a filmmaker.
Yes.
And when you mentioned that when you make a post and then you have to like keep on going back to see how many people that have seen it. Because sometimes you make a post and then, because my wife even, she laughs at me sometimes. I would make a content, even myself, maybe out of 1,000 views, only me would have seen it 100 times already. You keep going back, going back, going back. And because of the situation that someone like me that I find myself,
Your job,
validation
yes.
is important. But then on the other side, I've tried to learn over the years, because I tell my wife, don't expect anything from anybody, because expectation always breeds disappointment. When you expect so much and then you don't get it, you get disappointed. And then when you're disappointed, that's where all these depression things then comes in, the kick in. But learn to be so content. I love what Sinchi said, because now I'm gonna be learning from that. Because even right now I'm already learning it. Because regardless, even with this platform, I know there was a time whereby we've been, how do we increase our, say, social media follower and all like that? That's validation that we're trying to seek from the public, But then, yeah, it was not coming. Do we stop?
Yes.
No, we do not.
We have to keep
So
moving. Yeah.
we have to keep moving. So that's one thing that I've learned over time, that, see, at the end of the day, we still call this meeting. Yeah, we have about 17 people. We want it to be more than this, but there's still audience. There is audience for you. You just have to keep going. It is when you stop, then everything stop. But if you do not stop, I mean, in as much as you keep moving, don't worry, everything will be all right eventually. So I've learned that, and I just want to throw that to out there. Seeking validation. I seek validation from my wife all the time. She
Yep.
does, seek validation. There was even a time, there was this a friend, whenever, because that a friend, I think she's the only one that is single among all of them. And in my own way, make this person feel comfortable all the time. So whenever I see her, oh, you dress so nice. And one day my wife dresses, and she said I did not compliment her. She now said, if it's that my friend now, you will compliment her. Until I stopped complimenting that friend, even on a and I didn't like that I have to stop doing that. So validation is really, really, really important. But then we need to learn to be our own champion by ourselves, because no
Yes.
matter what validation anybody gives to you, if you
Yes.
do not champion yourself, it won't work. You won't even
You
say it.
won't.
You need to be okay in your own skin, in everything you do.
Yes.
Anything you do is the
Very
best
true.
for you. Yes, ma'am. That's it, ma'am.
So true. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We need to be content and be able to validate ourselves, even as we speak. And I didn't even realize, when you raise the point that some jobs actually just need constant validation, and it's true. You're a filmmaker, you're in cinema, you're in photography, you do need that. Imagine if you're a photographer and nobody ever says your pictures are good. What is the purpose of your job? So it is so true. It is so true. And finding that contentment in your work is important, but validation from those that you're trying to reach is very, very important to, good balance. good balance there. And then we spoke about the spouse and complimenting somebody. No, please don't stop complimenting the person. Please go back, compliment that person. But don't overtly do it. Just go ahead and do it because you don't know what that meant to the person. Don't withhold it. But always remember that you first compliment the one in your house and they say it. And that's so true. Many times um men do that. Men do that. Men do that. And when I'm close to them, I'm very, very quick to point it out. I'm very, very quick to point it out and tell them, no, you can't do that. Did you compliment this person to say, ah? So let's not take each other for granted when it comes to relationship. I know we're going to get to talk about validation in marriage, a different topic entirely. We'll figure it out and then we'll come back. We'll come back strong. It's been an amazing, amazing time. I saw a comment in the session I was trying to read out. It said, I agree on all the issues expectations can create. Still, we must have expectations. Thank you so much for saying that. I actually forgot to say that when he said that we must not live in a way as if if it doesn't come. No, we still have to have expectations. We have to have expectations. Our expectations will be validated when they are good by the grace of God. Because if you don't have any, at the end of the day, you might be building yourself up to be so stoic that your emotions don't even exist anymore. They don't even exist. So please, still open yourself up. Open yourself up. I think I'm going to write it down now and I'll talk to the crew later. But what comes to my mind right now, I know God is amazing. It's vulnerability and validation in marriage. That's what comes to my mind right now. And I know I'm writing it down so that the crew can remind me too, because those two V's, they go together. They go together. We're not going into that aspect now, but hey, your conversations, your discussions, your experiences, your sharing has put something out there for me to share with the crew when we have our meetings. Thank you so much for being here today. Like Dami said, we're just 17. We could be 170, which would have been excellent. And truly, that's what we're seeking. It means that we ourselves, we're seeking validation, but we're not going to get into the validation trap. No, we are 10, we'll hold the meeting because God has a reason for us having, let's talk about it with Flaky. He has a purpose. It's just that we'll keep fine tuning until we find that perfect time. Somebody said it's like you don't want to something about the dark. You don't want to smile in the dark. Oh, you don't want to smile in the dark if nobody else can see it. I said, well, I can smile for myself now. He said, no, you smile where others can see because it's going to brighten somebody else's day. So we don't want to be smiling in the dark. That's why we're asking you, please help us. Help us to find the most suitable time. Not everybody, obviously, but a time that will work for many, many, many. It's been amazing. Thank you so much to the amazing crew that always works with me. I'm so grateful to every single one of you. And some of them are on the call even today. And some have worked in the background. And some are, it just continues. And for all our co-counselors, God bless you. You will always have the right direction and the right instruction. You won't miss it. By the power in the mighty name of Jesus. It's a contemporary Christian talk show. So we're not ashamed to say the name of Jesus. Very, very appreciative. Thank you. Please, when the video comes out, please share. Share. Some people don't get the opportunity because of the timing, but they want to be a part of us. Thank you. And for all of you that have joined us, thank you for validating me today. I'm so grateful and I have enjoyed the validation. God bless you. Mwah.